Hello, my name is Jim Toot, and I'm an Associate Professor of Political Science at Central Virginia Community College. In this video, we'll discuss government redistribution policies. The next three PowerPoint slides show income distribution in America. The first graphic, the one you're looking at now, shows that as of 2007, the richest 20% received nearly 50% of American wealth or American income. This chart shows how that stacks up with other countries in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. As you can see, the United States has the highest rate of income inequality in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And as you can see from this graph, in 1935, when the Social Security Act was first passed, people 65 and older represented the poorest segment of our population. Even in 1959, 35% of the people 65 and over were below the poverty line. Today, that number is down around 10%. While the number of people 18 and under the poverty line has also declined, it has not declined at nearly as significant a rate. Welfare policies. The services and benefits government provide through their social policies vary widely. Americans rely more on employment and private sources, insurance policies for example, than the government for their income and to protect them against economic misfortune. For some American policymakers, poverty stems in part from the failure of the economic system to provide enough jobs at a living wage and from racism and sexism. They support policies to alleviate poverty causes, for example, increasing the minimum wage or lengthening the period of unemployment compensation. From this perspective, people are not much to blame for needing public assistance or welfare. An alternative view blames people for their fate. Public assistance violates the American values of individual enterprise and responsibility. It is believed that recipients would rather collect government handouts than work. No wonder welfare is one of the most reviled social programs. It is often given grudgingly and with stringent conditions attached. Title IV of the Social Security Act of 1935 provided funds for the states to help the destitute elderly, the blind, and children. Its primary purpose was to assist poverty-stricken families with children during the heart of the Depression. Over time, it became Aid to Families with Dependent Children, or AFDC, granting financial assistance to low-income mothers and their children. With expansion came criticism, often conveyed and amplified by the media. The program was seen as supporting unwed motherhood, idleness, and dishonesty. It was disparaged for providing aid to individuals without requiring anything in return. Families were given levels of assistance on the basis of their size. The more children families had, the more aid they received. Women were deterred from attempting to leave welfare by getting jobs because they were limited in the number of hours they could work without losing some of their benefits. In his successful 1991 campaign for the presidency, Bill Clinton preempted what had been a Republican issue by promising to put an end to welfare as we know it. In 1996, after rejecting previous versions, he signed a Republican bill, the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity and Reconciliation Act, or the PRWORA. This helped him get reelected in 1996. The law replaced AFDC with Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, or TANF program. The federal government gives states grants and aid and greater autonomy in structuring their welfare systems if they follow rules. Adult welfare recipients are limited to a lifetime total of 5 years of TANF benefits. State governments lose some of their TANF funding unless they show that significant numbers of their welfare recipients are entering the workforce. To receive benefits, children under 18 must live with their parents or in an adult supervised setting. Among Americans most distressed by the Great Depression were the nation's elderly, many of whom lost their savings and were unable to support themselves. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the Congress attempted to address this problem through the Social Security Act of 1935. The federal government does pay the cost of food stamps. Nearly 1 in 7 Americans receive them, with an average benefit of $500 a month for a family of 4. Removing the stigma of welfare from the stamps, the government changed the program's name to Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP. Since the law was passed, some states have reported decreases of over 50% in their number of welfare recipients. However, it remains to be seen if the changes in welfare policy have led to less poverty or simply removed people from the welfare rolls. With TANF flexibility, states vary in how they implement work and what the effects of the policy are now that the economy has declined and the people who had moved from welfare to employment have lost their jobs. In the next section, Part 4, we'll discuss major domestic policies and in particular social insurance programs.